The Robot Love. Chapter 1 In Need of a Friend. Crayon, the robot was the only robot at Raj's lab and home. Crayon felt alone in human world. He had few friends in other gadgets but none could play or accompany him. One day Raj, Crayon's creator, fell ill and told Crayon that he wished he was married as he would get a partner for lifetime. Crayon asked, "Do you mean a friend?" Raj explained, "Yes, a friend forever." Crayon informed that he wanted a friend too, for a lifetime with whom he could play, talk, study, travel, etc. As when Raj was not around, he had no one to talk to. Raj realized his loneliness and decided to prepare another robot for Crayon. Raj thought that he could not find a partner for his own at his wish but at least, had the ability to end Crayon's loneliness, who needed it more. He told Crayon, "I will create a friend for you." Crayon was excited. He felt charged up listening to this. He was equally curious as to what his new friend would look like. Now, Raj began working over it day and night. In return, Crayon substituted for Raj to complete his other responsibilities. Every day, as soon as Crayon finished all his work, he came to Raj's lab to check over the progress of his friend. With each day, he wondered and got more curious. Finally, Raj succeeded one day. That day, when Crayon finished all his work, he came to the lab. He was astonished to witness his complete friend. This robot looked unique to him. The more he looked at it, the more he wondered over its uniqueness. Raj fell asleep over the table while programming this robot. Crayon until now was not allowed to touch it or even come near it as he might destroy it accidentally. So this was his first official meeting with his friend. He stood before it and started observing and scrutinizing it. He gazed into its eyes and found that its color was different than those he had. Its eyebrows were thinner than his own. He then looked at its hairs and noticed that they were quite longer than his own. Then, he noticed that its lips were more light-colored and smaller than him. He felt that this new model was made of nanotechnology and was superior to his own self. He thought Raj had put in more efforts over it. To confirm, he started checking again. He touched the hairs and felt the silky smoothness of it. Then he felt its lips and then felt his own with his fingers. He noticed that its chest was a bit bigger than him. So, he innocently slid his hand to its neck to reach down. But before he could reach his target, he was stopped. Raj woke up and saw him. "Stop, right there. Take your hands off." "What are you doing?" Raj asked. "I am studying it." Crayon answered. "I haven't permitted you yet to touch her. She is not yet completed." Raj reminded. Crayon got a bit surprised. "Why do you address it as her and she? Don't you humans address all gadgets as it?" "Yes, but not her because she is my creation," Raj argued. Crayon wondered, "You humans generally address her to those humans whom you call as your female counterparts." "Yes, she is a female robot." Crayon's curiosity ended in a beautiful surprise. "Then, is this my female counterpart?" he asked innocently with great enthusiasm. Raj thought that Crayon took it a bit way too far. So, he cleared his doubt, "She is a female robot who will be your friend. Just a friend. Don't conclude things on your own." Suddenly, all that jealousy which Crayon was feeling, went away. The feeling of delight substituted. "My friend. Female friend. Forever." He turned to Raj and embraced him. "I learned from a movie that when you are happy and grateful, you must embrace." "Thank you, Raj," said Crayon. Raj felt it stupid, but could understand Crayon's action. Chapter 2 I am attracted to her. Can she talk to me? Crayon asked curiously. No, not yet. It will take some time. Raj informed. Raj told voluntarily, okay. You may study her but don't touch her. Okay. Command accepted, Crayon willingly complied. He went near her and began scrutinizing her again but this time not out of jealousy but out of interest. He wanted to know how complementary or similar she was to him. She is shorter in length than me. Approximately 5 inches shorter. It seems you have used nanotechnology. It allows me to inspect her fully, similarly as you do to find if I got any scratch recently, he said to Raj. Raj smiled over his innocent yet correct description and asked, You are right, tell me your other observations. But, you've made an error at a place. Her eyes are bigger than me. Raj explained, it's not a mistake. Firstly, I have inserted bigger lens in her eyes to magnify the image. Secondly, it makes her eyes look more defined and feminine. Crayon agreed more to the second reason and repeated gazing into her eyes. More defined and feminine eyes. He then noticed her skin color. He asked, why is her skin color different than me? Is this also a part of her feminine features? Not really, I made her skin look a little darker because I like wheat-like complexion of skin. Oh, new input received. Then why is my skin so bright? Because I made you with the help of one of my friends, who designed your look. Oh, I see. Crayon then took a close look into her eyes. He shared his confusion. Raj, I am facing a certain difficulty in determining the color of her eyes. No matter how much I look, I cannot determine her eye color. Raj, please tell me, what is the color of her eyes? They are dark brown but with a blue lining, Raj informed. She looks so different and special. I have not found human this much admirable as her. Raj, have you used some heavy magnet inside her? No, why do you say so? Because, I don't know why I am getting attracted to her. Raj smiled. In which stupid movie did you hear this dialogue? Still, when she gains consciousness, do tell her this thing. She will get impressed. Can I impress her? Yes, you may. After all, you know more about human world and you have more experience in all sorts of work. So, do I need to teach her? No, you need to inform her. She has self-sufficient learning abilities just like you. Just like me. Crayon was happy with this similarity. What else we have in common? Me, Raj joked. Actually many things. You will discover it by yourself. For now, I want you to just befriend her and make her familiar with this house. But remember, don't take her out in public, till I prepare her for it, warned and suggested Raj. Yes, sir. Your wish is my command. By tomorrow she will be able to speak and comprehend any language she hears, Raj informed. Oh great, same as me. Now good night. And go to sleep, Raj ordered. Crayon wished back. Good night, Raj. Then he turned to the robot and said, good night, new friend. Chapter 3 Hello. I am Yami. Accomplishing all his tasks for the day, Crayon reached Raj's lab. Raj was still programming her. The cables were connected to her circuit which was placed at her back secretly under her rubber skin. Is she ready? Can I talk to her? Crayon asked excitedly. Yes, almost ready. We will be testing her in a while. Crayon was happy. He moved to see her circuit at her back. She has a good amount of memory. And has every color light to indicate at what state she is. This way it will be easy to find out the fault, if anything goes wrong. Raj, who was impressed by Crayon's observation but worried about his unsocial behavior, told him. Crayon, I want you to read a few books on social etiquettes and mannerisms on how a gentleman should behave with a lady. Command accepted, but why do I need it? Asked Crayon. Raj explained, because, to me, she is not just a robot but a lady too, and I want you to treat her like a lady. This way she would understand the behavior of good guy. Crayon wondered. What is the difference between a good and bad guy? Raj answered. Bad guys harms people, while good guys protect and care for people. Crayon understood. He could not agree more. I would protect her from bad guys. She must know that I am a good guy. Raj. Correct me, if I behave like a bad guy. Raj realized that Crayon took it too seriously, but he thought that it was good. Till then, she was ready for testing. Okay, Crayon, now I want you to talk to her. Say, hello to her. Crayon said, hello, good evening. Hello, I am Yami. Good evening, said Yami, the female robot. She spoke for the first time to Crayon. Crayon realized he met his friend. He saw Raj, who was equally happy. Raj asked him to continue his conversation. Crayon said. Hello, I am Crayon. Nice to meet you, Crayon, said Yami. Same here. He is Raj. He is your creator, informed Crayon. Hello Raj, my creator. I am Yami. Hello Yami, it's a pleasure to meet you and create you. Crayon asked, do you know that you are a female robot? Yes, I know, but I am not supposed to reveal my true identity, replied Yami. Crayon asked Raj. Can I shake hands with her? Raj permitted. Crayon offered his hand. I am also a robot. A male robot. We must become friends. Sorry, I am programmed to take orders only from Raj. Raj interfered. Yami, you may listen to suggestions of other people and decide on your own whether you want to comply or not. Okay, Raj. She looked into Crayon's eyes and then shakes her hand back. I am willing to become friends with you, Crayon robot. Crayon smiled. Why do you stretch your lips? Crayon explained. This is called a smile. You have accepted my suggestion. It is a good news for me and so I must be happy. As per human actions, one must smile when you are happy. Okay. A smile for a good news. New info received. Yami understood and agreed. She smiled back to him. Crayon was mesmerized by her smile. Her eyes glow, so did Crayon's. Crayon took out a friendship band from his pocket and tied it on her wrist. She kept wondering. Why do you tie this over my wrist? Because humans tie this thing when they have friends. You are my first female robot friend. And we will be friends forever. Raj could not overlook Crayon's commitment and seriousness towards this relationship. He thought. Crayon has grown up. Chapter 4 Let's meet friends like us. Raj was convinced with the testing and so, he unplugged the cables from Yami's back. Concealed it by sliding the skin cover. And then zipped her suit. Crayon stood nearby observing it all quite attentively. Raj instructed Crayon. Now for a month we will be keeping her at home. You must monitor her actions and reactions. By the time if she has any query you need to answer it or ask me. Crayon readily noted the orders. So, can I take her with me to the bedroom? Raj got puzzled. To his human ears, it did not sound well. What? Why do you have to take her to the bedroom? Inquired Raj. To make her meet my other gadget friends, Crayon answered innocently. Oh, you mean for introduction. Raj felt relieved to hear it and also guilty for what he thought. Yes, of course. Take your friend along and make her familiar with the surroundings. Crayon happily thanked Raj and held Yami's hand. Come Yami. I will show you around. Come, meet some friends like us. Let's go. Yami accepted the suggestion and they walked along holding their hands together. Raj was reduced to be mere a spectator. As they walked, Crayon informed her about every single thing which came on the way. Do you have sensors in your hand? Asked Crayon. Yes, I do have it and I also have scanners in my eyes. So once I touch something I can record its texture and can store in my memory. Also, if I see a person or a thing through my eye scanner I can remember them forever, answered Yami. Oh great then. I will help you classify things. See, this is called a flower pot. Flowers have lives like humans but they cannot move or speak. Humans keep it for its beauty, oxygen and fragrance. It is also used as medicine in Ayurveda, a science of herbal medicine. Oh. But that much you won't be able to comprehend. Just store in your memory. We will understand it later, said Crayon. What is a fragrance? Yami inquired. It's a kind of gas which humans can sense through their nose. The gas with pleasing smell is fragrance. Oh, but I forgot, you must not be knowing what's a gas, predicted Crayon. I know it. The English dictionary stored in my memory has its definition, informed Yami. Crayon argued, but many things you must learn practically. Just storing information might not be enough. They entered the room and Crayon switched on the steamer and showed her the visible vapors. She wondered on this magic. So, this is how gases, concluded Yami. Not all gases are visible. Some are invisible. You understand? Asked Crayon. Yes, I did, told Yami. You can also shake your head up and down instead of saying, yes. See like this. He noted his head and shows her. She copied obediently. And instead of saying, no, you may shake your head on the sides. See like this. He showed and she saw and learned it too. Now let's try it. Answer me without speaking. Did you understand? Asked Crayon. She nodded her head repeatedly. Crayon smiled out of happiness. Are you a human? Asked Crayon. She shook her head from left to right. Crayon smiled again. Good. You learn faster, complimented Crayon. For a moment his eyes stopped at hers. He changed the topic. But those flowers are a replica of a flower, so it doesn't have fragrance. Just like we are a replica of humans. He giggled a little strangely, uttering, hee hee. Laughing face. She asked. Why did you open your mouth and made that noise? He explained. This is called laughter. Humans do it when anything seems funny to them. Funny can be a silly mistake or a very obvious situation or a confusion or even a tragedy of someone else or self. I don't understand. It is quite confusing. She shook her head from left to right and continued. But I can copy you. She copied him. Hee hee, giggled Yami. Crayon repeated back, hee hee. He started introducing his friends one by one, from cell phone, lamp, laptop, AC, TV till smart music player. She passed little current to each to say, hello. Each one greeted her in their own unique way. The phone vibrated and glowed, the lamp lit, the smart laptop raised its head automatically, TV blinked its light, the smart music player Mr. Saragama said hello. He called each by their brand name. Actually, Crayon activated smart gadgets using his IoT controls. Hello, I am Yami. Crayon's new friend, said Yami. Every time she spoke these words Crayon would get charged up, that is, delighted. His dream was fulfilled. He was no more alone. He had a friend now. Chapter 5 Let me put her to sleep. Though we can operate it directly by IoT controls, we need to behave like humans and it is quite fun that way. It is time for Raj to sleep. I need to remind him. We must go back to the lab, advised Crayon. Do you know what is a sleep? Asked Crayon. Yes, a rest which makes humans temporarily unconscious at night, answered Yami. Exclamation mark. Yes, correct, but they take it for regaining energy, refreshing brain, and it marks end of a day. As the sun goes down and moon appears. Later we will go to the balcony where I will show you the moon and stars, I promise, promised Crayon. Okay, said Yami. Hey, since we are in India, here you have an action also for an okay. It is like this, informed Crayon. Crayon tilted his head a little on both the sides and said. See, this is called wobble. Now onwards, if you have to show your agreement or say okay, you can wobble. Yami wobbled in answer to show her agreement. Crayon smiled and after observing him for a few seconds Yami smiled back. Let me see your watch to know how much charge is left in your battery. He checked and found it depleting. Oh, it is too less, only 54%. You two need to get charged, Crayon suggested. He talked while walking. While Raj is very generous to share bedroom with me, I have my own sleeping case in lab where I can get myself charged while going on sleeping mode. I am sure he must have made one for you too. If not, you can use my case. It is quite big and has multiple sockets for charging. They reached lab and Raj informed them that he was yet to prepare a sleeping case for Yami and that she needed to be charged for whole night for proper functioning of the battery. Crayon suggested Raj. She can sleep with me, I don't mind. To Raj's human ears it sounded quite creepy. What did you say? No, you can't sleep with her. For once, Raj took them as humans. Crayon asked, why not? My case is big and can charge multiple machines. Raj could not explain, so he ordered Crayon. Whatever. It is my order. She needs to be charged fully as this is her initial charging. So she will be here. And you come to my room. Though Crayon was 60% charged. He bent like he was at 10%. Raj could feel his unwillingness. I know, you want to spend time with her, but she needs to get charged and from now onwards she will always be around you. She is your friend forever, remember, reminded Raj. Crayon, being a robot, was bound to follow Raj's orders. But once upon a time, Raj gave him the liberty of giving a suggestion to Raj if someday he doesn't feel like following the order. Actually, Raj never treated Crayon like a machine. He treated him as a human who was his assistant as well as friend. Can I give you a suggestion, Raj? He asked. Raj remembered his promise. He allowed him. Let me put her on sleep mode today. Once I will watch her go sleep. I will return to the bedroom with my charger, requested Crayon. Raj was soft-hearted. He allowed him, giving him instructions. Okay, you may stay for a while. But dude, it is just a matter of a night. I am not separating you forever. Stop being sentimental. He pated Crayon and left to sleep. Crayon was delighted. He looked at Yami and smiled and said, "Come on Yami. Let me show you my case. Sorry, I mean, our sleeping case." He then held her hand and took her along inside a glass room. There it was. The hexagon-shaped big box-like glass case. It was really big enough to adjust two people. This is your resting case. Tonight you need to get charged fully. It is important for your battery life. Did you like it? Asked Crayon. What is like? My dictionary definition is insufficient for me to understand or learn to like, shared Yami. Humans have preferences because they have lot of options. Preferences change from human to human. Whenever humans think that some option is very comfortable or convenient to them, they say they like it. It means their individual choice. The reason behind such choice vary from person to person. Sometimes they like things even without some special reason. Did you understand? Asked Crayon. She began nodding her head up and down before he finished. I like this case, though I don't have option, but since you are sharing it with me, said Yami. Crayon realized her answer was far better than his explanation. This time he was not charged up or delighted. In fact, he was stuck or hanged for a second. He recalled and pondered. Was it that feeling which Raj described as being touched? Yami noticed it and closed his eyes and then opened them. He was active again. He thanked Yami for stopping the processing for a while. Chapter 6, You Are So Light. Crayon told Yami, today is your first time. So, I will instruct you on how to use it. Firstly, you need to get in the bed case. It's your first time. So let me place you there with care. Crayon gently lifted her in his arms and kept her into the case carefully. You are so light, he wondered. Raj had put in a lot of effort to make you. Then, Crayon helped her lie properly, set her shoulders back, adjusted the position of her feet and straightened her hands with palms facing the sky. This is the Shavasana mode of sleeping. In India, humans consider it as the most comfortable, rest-taking and best way of sleeping. Then, he took out the charger from the glass drawer and plugged it in the board which was also inside the case and inserted the charger pin into her left ear. See, this is how you need to charge yourself every day. After this you can self-select the sleeping mode in you. This yellow switch is to cover the case, if you want to. But today, Raj has instructed me to switch you off. So, I will cover you later. Now, I am going to switch you off. But where is your emergency switch-off button? I can't find it on your neck the way I have mine. He tried feeling it with his fingers but failed to find. Mine is where human throat is. But it's covered with my rubber skin. Let it be. I will switch you off selecting that mode on your watch's interface. But before he did that, he stopped. Good night, he said looking into her eyes. She greeted him back. Good night. I know its meaning and definition. Now, I know the intention behind wishing it. You don't need to explain. Crayon smiled. He wanted to see her smile too. She smiled back to Crayon. He switched her off and pressed the yellow switch to finally cover her with the curvy, transparent glass lid. Reluctantly, he left the lab, unable to take his eyes off Yami. He entered Raj's bedroom with despair. Raj had already prepared his bed on the floor as he needed to lay straight and the plug was nearby from there. Raj was still awake. He could notice Crayon's reluctance. Crayon laid down on the floor bed without uttering a word. Raj broke the silence. She will be. I know, she will be fine. I will not go on sleep mode tonight. I will keep a watch over the house, said Crayon. You are thinking too much. But I am quite confused with your behavior. Are you being overprotective or overpossessive towards her? Asked Raj. I don't know, I fear losing her as you have said that if some bad humans find us robots, they would treat us worse than animals in nature, asserted Crayon. Don't worry, I have instilled more defensive controls in her than you, informed Raj to let Crayon worry less. Really? Thanks Raj. You are so smart. For once, Crayon felt relieved to receive this information. I had to. Because I have given her a female body. She has more challenges than you, added Raj. Challenges? What kind of challenges? Crayon inquired. Raj was really reluctant to discuss. So he informed in short. The kind of challenges which female humans face. If you have seen some Bollywood movies from 70s and 80s you would know it. Crayon recalled and got worried. Oh my god. That's scary. Human females have social pressures and have to protect their virtue more than their life. How would Yami deal with it all? She is so innocent and unaware. We won't let her go outside. I have to be around her 24/7. This was the first solution that came to Crayon's mind. Still, Raj was as cool as cucumber. Crayon, sometimes you just shock me by what you learn through movies. I am proud of you. But as I said, I have installed more defensive control in Yami than you. You got to trust me on that. And we would train her really slow well before she faces the world. Don't worry. Till then, she will be here only. Oh thank goodness. I hope so. Crayon got some relief hearing Raj. But then another question pop up in his mind and he asked. Raj, why didn't you let me sleep beside her? Were you being overprotective or overpossessive? Raj got taste of his own medicine. He was again reluctant to answer. So he advised him. Crayon, do you remember I told you to read books on etiquette and manners with women? Yes Raj, you advised me in the evening. I remember. That's it. You will get all your answers in those books, said Raj. Okay Raj. Then tonight I will read all those books on the same topic, Crayon decided. Good boy. Now, I'll be sleeping. Good night friend. Good night friend. Now I will be reading. That night Crayon read 7 to 8 books altogether. Chapter 7. As Women Deserve to be Respected. After reading a bunch of books Crayon behaved more gently than before. As soon as it was morning, he went to the lab. But he stopped at the door and thought. One must take permission or at least knock before entering into a woman's room. Yami is switched off so I can't take permission. Thus, I must at least knock. He knocked the door and said. I am coming in. He went to the case to check if the battery was full. As he moved to check her watch, he stopped just before touching her hand. As a gentleman I must not touch her without her permission. But it is important to check the battery and also to switch her on. So he wears gloves and then check her watch by holding her wrist. The battery showed 100% and so she could be switched on. He switched her on happily. She took time to be active. Crayon became restless with each passing microsecond. Finally, she opened her eyes. Good morning. My battery is fully charged. I am ready to work, said Yami. Okay, good. Good morning Yami. Now you may get out of the case. Yami got up and sat and tried put her legs above the borders or fences of this box which were at a greater height than the bed surface. Thus, Yami could not touch her feet to the floor to stand up or move out of this box. She got stuck. Crayon noticed and wanted to lift her but since he had studied that male and female should not have unwanted body contact, he dropped the idea. But soon he had other way. He offered his hands which were covered with gloves. Yami held both his hands and he pulled her but the force he applied proved a bit extra. Yami collided with Crayon and both lost balance for a second. Luckily, she put her arms around his neck to prevent falling. Crayon caught her by waist and maintained a steady balance. Real X. I got you, said Crayon. Yami laughed. He. Crayon asked her why did she laugh. She answered, because we both made silly mistakes and I found it funny. Crayon smiled. But soon realized he held her too close. He took his hands off her and maintained a distance. I am sorry, he said. Sorry is a word which is told after making a mistake. Am I right? Crayon explained, yes, you are right. But the reason to say sorry is because that mistake might have caused inconvenience to others. Saying sorry let other person feel good. So are you trying to make me feel good, she asked. No, I am saying sorry because I am guilty about my mistake. Guilty. Yes, when we do something wrong and want to correct it but can't, we feel guilty. Okay. So what did you do wrong to be guilty? I touched you without your permission. Asking for women's will and wish is a man's duty. It is a way to show respect because women deserve to be respected. But you were helping me. Yes, but still I need to ask you beforehand. I already gave you permission yesterday when we met. Remember? Plus, do you think someone would touch me without my permission and I would not crush him? My defense controls will get activated if I spot a danger. So do you mean I can touch you? She nods her head to say yes, you may. But we are just friends and not of same gender. In humans, male and female friends cannot touch each other anytime. Oh. Is it so? Then you can touch me when I need help. Friends in need is a friend indeed, right? And for other times, ask me. Crayon was happy to hear it. Okay, I will touch you only if you need my help or else I would ask you before. Now let's go. It's time to wake Raj up, said Crayon. Crayon. Would you not hold my hands like yesterday? She asked innocently. Crayon held it after thinking. She kept looking at his hand. Crayon realized she looked at his glove. He removed it and held her hand. She smiled and they walked towards Raj's room. They reached Raj's bedroom but Crayon asked Yami to wait outside. Yami asked, why should I wait here? Because according to what I have read about human etiquettes, there are 70% chances of a woman getting a shock if entered a man's room in the morning, Crayon explained. Though I didn't understand, I would listen to you and wait here, said Yami. Crayon happily exclaimed. Good girl. He went inside. Yami learned and repeated. Good girl. Crayon started waking Raj up. Raj, wake up. It's morning. It's 7 inches. Raj, wake up. It's morning, it's 7 inches. He kept repeating until Raj woke up with a disgust. Okay, stop it. I am up. Crayon stopped repeating and wished him. Good morning, Raj. Sometimes you are so irritating, I tell you, asserted Raj. Crayon smiled. He knew it was funny. He then brought Raj's t-shirt and gave him. I have a surprise for you. But before that, please put your shirt on or you will shock her. Shock her? Whom? He asked. Raj put on the t-shirt. Crayon brought Yami in. Good morning, Raj, Yami greeted. Good morning, Yami. Wow. Our new family member is here and she is looking quite energetic and strong. I guess charging has been completed, exclaimed Raj happily. Yes. She is all set and fine. Tell me what work should I teach her, asked Crayon. No, right now I just want you to look after her. Let her slowly understand her controls and the life at our house. You can teach her as you like, whether it's a game or gadget or human life. It's on you as far as it is easy. But see to no outsider get a glimpse of her. Okay. I got it, Raj. I thank you on behalf of her to be so considerate and patient. Chapter 8, I like music. Raj had left for work. He had a piano at his home. Crayon thought of introducing some music to Yami today. So they sat on the piano and he started playing some music for her. See, this is a piano. It makes soothing sounds, compiling which music can be composed. I will play it for you. He then played a soft tune. As she listened to it and watched him play, she got the exact idea about what music is, different sounds played in a specific scheme. As Crayon finished playing, he asked her whether she liked it. Yami nodded and said, I liked it very much. Also, I have memorized how you played it. I can play the same now and make you hear it. Crayon said enthusiastically, oh. Then, give it a try. I want to see you play. Yami played exactly the same tune. Crayon clapped and praised her. You know, you can sing along with the tune. See, in this way. He started singing the Hindi song, Banwar Ki Gunjan, and played the piano along. Yami observed, singing is uttering words in a tune. Yami memorized the lyrics quickly and joined him for singing the same. Crayon was impressed to hear it. Wow, you sing so well. You have a beautiful voice, complimented Crayon. Thanks, I think it's Raj's gift to me. Yami wanted to know more. So, she asked further, is music very good for humans? Yes. Not only for humans but also for plants and animals. In fact, there is music in the nature. The blowing wind, the swinging trees, the flowing river, the lightning thunder have music in it. The chirping birds and the animals all have music in them. In fact, according to Indian belief, the universe itself is composed of a musical humming sound called Om. So, music is an inseparable part of human world, I conclude, said Yami. Further she asked, so, does it mean that music also have life? I don't know if it has life or life energy or life force. But, I've heard humans say that music is life. Also, it has a strange power to change moods of people, heal their emotional wounds and also provide bliss and peace, given that you are listening a specific type of music, informed Crayon while willingly sharing his acquired knowledge. Type. Music has types, wondered Yami. Maybe, yes. As it is nothing but sound waves and each sound wave has different frequency which leaves a different effect on the listener. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Music also has one. Sound waves affects human brain waves, explained Crayon. Oh, I see. Thanks for the information. I like music, said Yami. Though Crayon was a robot, he blushed like kids even at a thank you from Yami. He then asked the smart music player Saragama to play a song called Jab Deep Jail Anna. This is a song. Humans dedicate songs to people whom they like. The words and meaning of the songs help them to convey some feelings which they are unable to express by themselves, informed Crayon. Why are they unable to express something by themselves? Asked a confused Yami. I am not quite clear about it, but you would understand as you will know about human behavior. Crayon wanted Yami to learn with experience, in a good way. I am dedicating this song to you not only for its good music but also for its good lyrics or words. I hope you would accept it and like it, said Crayon. He also played along with the song and sang sometimes. Yami wanted to play along. Thus, she set her fingers on the keys of piano. Crayon realized it and asked, do you want to play it along with me? She nodded. Initially, Crayon hesitated a bit but then placed his palms behind her fingers and guided them. Their fingers touched, eyes fluttered and fondness for each other grew. That whole day they kept listening to music and singing together. Then she sang a song sweeter than the original singer. Crayon was mesmerized and so was Raj, who by then returned home and followed the sweet voice and reached there. When I made you, I did not have idea that you might sound sweeter than humans. You've surprised me, Yami. Keep it up. Raj complimented Yami. Crayon interrupted, oh, I forgot. I have to teach you how to operate TV to learn. Raj interrupted and told Yami, enough for today. You've learned quite much. You may go to your case and rest for today. He then turned to Crayon and said, good job Crayon, thank you. Crayon smiled and replied with gratitude. Good job, Raj, thank you. Oh, that reminds me I need to prepare a sleeping case for Yami, Raj remembered and said to Crayon. Crayon asked, may I assist you in the same? Raj agreed. Yeah. Sure, the more the merrier. Crayon was happy and excited. Then onwards, Yami learned each day something new. Chapter 9 You Dance Superb. Next morning, Raj was at home designing Yami's sleeping cover. Crayon also wanted to help. Raj told, give me an hour or two, once I am finished with a rough design I would call you for assistance. Till then go and give company to Yami. Crayon readily took orders and went to Yami. Before he could knock he heard a strange music. When he saw, he was stunned. Yami was dancing like a doll on a song by looking at the TV dancer which Raj left on. Crayon did not want to disturb her learning time. So he stood at the door and kept looking at her dancing skills. She is really a good learner, Crayon said to himself. Yami danced extremely gracefully. Crayon thought his steel body and rubber skin might melt by her innocence and grace. Yami saw him and stopped. She asked, when did you come? Just now, he replied. You dance superb. I am amazed. Really? Thanks, Yami replied with a smile. May I have a dance with you? Crayon asked her. She had no clue. I don't know what you are asking. Trust me and give your hand, I want to dance with you, explained Crayon. She gave her hand willingly and Crayon began dancing waltz with her. She followed his instructions and matched his steps. Yami started enjoying. Are you teaching me? She asked. Yes, but I am also learning with you cause I have seen this dance many a times but never practiced with someone, I like dancing with you. It feels great, said a happy Crayon. Same here, said Yami. They got clapped for by Raj, who appeared from nowhere. So your practice is going great, it seems. Good. Keep it up. He left complimenting them. Crayon came back to the business. You know what else are we gonna learn today? Today we will learn about animal and plants which are living things. Crayon was excited. He offered her that in their balcony there were some special plants for real. Would she like to see them for real? Yami was willing to. Let's begin. Crayon took her to Raj's balcony and showed her the plants for real. The best thing about Raj's apartment was that he had a well-defined spacious balcony and a small plant nursery inside. Crayon took her there. Yami gazed around and the first thing which came to her mind was, this place has so many colors. I feel like smiling. These things are called flowers. And they are of different types, colors and fragrances. They grow when they receive sunlight and water, explained Crayon. Humans seem to be very fortunate to have so much of beauty and colors in their world, said a thoughtful Yami. Yes, but not every human realize it. They seldom take a walk in the nature. So do they never observe this fortune, asked Yami. No, they do. Only, when they fall in love, told Crayon. Love. What is it and when do they fall? Yami was curious. Crayon explained her as best as he could. Love is a feeling when a man and woman become so emotionally attached that they can't live without each other. That is when they start looking at the world in a different way. Wow. I also want to fall in love. When will I fall in love? I don't know. Love starts with liking someone more than anybody. Crayon blushed but did not want to disturb Yami's imagination. So he changed the topic. He brought her to a mimosa plant and asked her to touch it. As soon as she felt the leaves, it closed up instantly. Yami got surprised. Crayon explained her that plants are living beings and a few can show their response. As they talked, it started raining. What is this? Inquired Yami. It is rain. God Indra's blessing to earthly creatures. Crayon soon collected a rain drop on a wax leaf and moved it. Yami's eyes sparkled by watching how water appeared like a pearl on the wax leaf. They sang and danced in the rain, made paper boats to sail and got drenched. Yami enjoyed the rains. Raj did not worry as he made them waterproof. The next day Yami was super excited. Her eyes were shining. She came to Crayon. Good morning, Crayon. Crayon could feel her excitement and zeal. He smiled at her and wished her. Good morning, Yami. You look quite charged up today. Yes, I am. Tell me, Crayon. What is my today's task? Today, on laptop, we will watch different kinds of creatures. He caught her hand and took her to the study table. They sat side by side. See, this is a laptop. It is high-tech machine like us. This is its screen. Computer is considered as the most intelligent gadget made by humans. Maybe even better than us. Computers have n number of applications and programs which ease the work of humans, explained Crayon. He further detailed Yami. Look, this is Google, a search engine. You may search anything over it. It works with the help of internet support. We can also Google through our watches which Raj has fit on our wrists. It serves as an interface of our machine, that is, our bodies, explained Crayon. Now, we will surf. Crayon also showed her videos of variety of plants and animals. I am going to assist Raj. Feel free to surf as you like. Crayon left giving her task to research on her own. To Yami, everything she watched seemed new and worth learning. The most she concentrated on was voices or some kind of music. The things she was most attracted to were birds. While scrolling over YouTube she stumbled upon a workout video. When Crayon came back and asked her what she had learned, she started demonstrating each one after another like a playlist. Chapter 10 You Are My Son, Crayon. While demonstrating her learned skills, firstly, she made some voices. The first of the cuckoo, the next of a crow and one, of a puppy. Crayon enjoyed each voice. These are the voices of birds and animals. They are living beings, which can move, have feelings, intelligence but have comparatively less physical and mental growth than humans. Animals stay on ground or in water. Birds can fly. Tell me, what else did you learn, wise girl? I learned Surya Namaskar. This was too difficult to learn as I observed, we are not as flexible as humans. But I learned to do it after practicing for a few times. Crayon clapped and complimented her that she must regularly do it to enhance her flexibility. Then, Yami requested Crayon. I want to see outside world. I wish to see animals, birds and other human beings in nature and human world. Crayon could understand her curiosity to learn and experience, but he knew it was risky to take her out. So Crayon, for time being, showed her pets like dog and cats from balcony through binoculars. He also introduced her to the fishes in Raj's fish pond. Yami met fishes in fish tank. Pets have names. Names have meanings. We have not yet selected names for them. Would you like to name them? Asked Crayon. Yami could not have asked for more. They searched names on internet and named the fishes. She enjoyed it. Crayon wanted to do more for her. He promised her that tonight he would bring her to show something very beautiful, the stars. That night they were ready to sneak to the terrace to see the view of whole city. But got caught by Raj. So Crayon directly asked Raj for the permission. Raj, can I take Yami to the terrace of our building? To the terrace, you mean out of this house? But for what purpose? I had promised Yami to take her to the terrace and show her stars, moons, planets and the whole city, informed Crayon. But what if someone saw her or if she slipped from the terrace? It's too risky, right now. I can't permit you. I am sorry, said an unhappy Raj. Crayon thought for some times. What you say makes sense, but I have promised her and a man should keep his promise. But you are not a man, you are a male robot, reminded Raj. Oh, I see. But still it is ethical to fulfill one's promise. Yes, it is, but not now. See, if you really want to show her the sky, you may show her from our lab's telescope or you can bring it in the balcony, at most, but on a condition that no neighbor should see her. Is that okay? Crayon looked at Yami and asked her, is it okay for you, Yami? Yami said, I have no opinion. I am okay with anything. Raj looked at Crayon for his answer. Okay, today I will show her the sky from the gallery as we also have a telescope there. May I also use the projector? We have to project it on the ceiling. Raj had no objection to this and permitted. Crayon turned to Yami and said, but later I would take you to the terrace. Raj breathed a sigh of relief. Yami and Crayon left for the lab. Though Crayon was setting up and arranging the telescope and projector film with immense enthusiasm, he was regretting to have not been able to take her to the terrace. I am sorry, Yami. I couldn't fulfill my promise. Yami felt his guilt and unhappiness. She told Crayon. As far as I am with you, any place is beautiful, anything is a surprise and any learning is fun. For now I have the brightest star with me. It's you, Crayon. You are my son, Crayon. Her response cooled Crayon totally down. Crayon felt relieved but more amused and touched. He was rejuvenated. Crayon, I had learned a song recently. May I sing for you to listen? Yami asked. Sure, which song do you want to sing? Asked Crayon. Yami went near the balcony and started singing the song Aja Sanam Madhur Chandni Mine Hum. It meant, come my love, let's meet in the moonlight so that even the deserts will bloom. Crayon knew this song and realized she was dedicating it to him. Thus, he joined and they sang for each other with their hand in hand. The night seemed more lightened and romantic. They gazed at each other as if there was nothing else to look around. But Crayon had to fulfill his promise and so he brought her back in the lab and projected a film on space and planets. They lied down on the floor side by side. Crayon held Yami's hands and they watched the film which was projected on the ceiling. Yami got to learn the secrets of this very universe, Brahmand. As soon as the film was over, Crayon asked Yami about how did she like it. Yami shared her wonder and how overwhelmed she was. Crayon was happy and then set the telescope in the balcony. Come here, Yami. Let me show you each star one by one through this telescope. Crayon showed her how constellation formed shapes like Indian zodiac signs. He told her how to use the brightest star of night to find the way if one got lost. He also narrated the Indian tales regarding the saints and Kritikas living in various constellations. They kept watching stars for hours. Later, they realized had very less charge left in their battery. So they rushed to go back to their respective rooms. But Yami stopped Crayon holding his hand. I just want to say that I am grateful to you for the efforts you have taken for me. I won't forget this moment. They hugged each other and were unwilling to separate. But their system reminded them about the depleting battery. They finally wished goodnight to each other and went to their rooms. Raj, who was watching them doing all this stupidity, said to himself, even my robot has a better half. When am I going to get one? But he let them be. Raj decided not to disturb their moment. Chapter 11 Won't Let You Hurt. Within a few weeks, Yami had learned to water her favorite flowers and watched videos to learn gardening. She had also learned to dust and clean her friends, the electronic devices. She had grown fondness for music and would listen old Hindi songs often. But still she had a dream to go to the outside world and experience the nature. Crayon understood it without her saying. So, one day he decided to bring her out to buy a toy puppy for her. This time he didn't took permission from Raj. He took Yami on his bicycle. Yami sat before him. He put his arms around her shoulders like a bodyguard and held the handles of the cycle. Yami was super excited. Her dream was coming true. As they went through the lanes, streets, roads, she looked around with amaze. This is so beautiful. The wind is gushing. It seems as if the roadway is descending behind and we are moving forward. Stop. What is that place? Looks like our balcony's nursery, said Yami with excitement. It's a garden, Yami. Would you like to visit it? Asked Crayon generously. Before they entered, Crayon covered Yami's nose and mouth with the help of a surgical mask to hide her face. There were birds chirping and flying above. Flowers boomed and danced with the wind. Water fountain flow like rains. The seesaw, swing, slides, they tried and played in each one. They enjoy the surroundings. Children came and they played hide and seek with them. Yami enjoyed thoroughly. When they left, Crayon bought balloons and mouth organ for Yami as she was attracted to them as soon as she saw them. From there they went to the toy shop in the local market where Crayon showed Yami lots of animal-shaped hard and soft toys. But Yami's attention was taken by a street puppy outside the shop which she saw from the glass door. I want that puppy. Yami demanded. Crayon could not turn her down. He allowed and they picked it up from there. Yami held it and kept it on her lap. However, while returning they accidentally got hit behind by a bike and fell on the ground. Yami took care of the puppy so it was safe. However, Yami herself got a dent on her leg. Crayon noticed that her skirt tore and her rubber skin beneath got a scratch revealing her visible steel body. He was worried but he knew that it was more important to hide Yami's identity. Thus, Crayon put his jacket over her and helped her sit back. He put the puppy in the basket and rode her back home. Yami felt his care for her. When they came home, Crayon tried his best to repair her dent but no matter how hard he tried, he failed. Crayon was sad and tried to fix it the way humans do but no gain, he got disheartened. Don't blame yourself, Crayon. It was an accident. It is quite common in human world. Yami could not see Crayon feel guilty. Crayon had no other option. Thus, he decided to tell the truth to Raj on his return. When Raj came back he told the whole story and pleaded to fix Yami's wound. Raj scolded them but then treated her wound and fixed it perfectly. Crayon thanked Rajan and apologized. Thank you so much, Raj. I promise I would never repeat this mistake. Raj cooled down and consoled Crayon. It was not your fault but an accident. Just be a bit conscious now onwards. Crayon also promised Yami to learn everything possible to protect her. That day Yami fell for Crayon for his sincerity and true heart. Now onwards, I will take utmost care of you and won't let you hurt. He also promised himself that he will become as able as Raj and would learn to fix and maintain Yami like a real engineer. Then onwards he would update and service her each month. Raj could not take this melodrama anymore. A few minutes later, he announced that he had planned a trip to Lonavala Hills this weekend for beautiful sightseeing and everyone had to go together. Wasn't Raj super cool? He really was. Although Raj seemed calm outside, he had his own set of problems and loneliness. It was a new day and Yami and Crayon were doing their updates. They were all charged up due to Raj's announcement of the trip and were preparing for the same. Raj had some issues as his family wanted to send him on a date but he argued over. Crayon and Yami overheard their conversation. Crayon came to Raj and patted Raj's back to console him. Calm down, Raj. Everything will be fine. What do you wish to have in breakfast, tell me. Crayon knew how to uplift Raj's mood. Raj demanded thepla, a round flattened cooked dough with fenugreek leaves mixed with curd. Sure, Raj, I would readily prepare it. Crayon went to the kitchen. Crayon took Yami along to teach her how to cook it. In the kitchen, Yami asked Crayon about his action of patting Raj. He answered explaining to her, all Raj wanted was someone to understand the reason behind his reluctance to go for a matchmaking. He wanted empathy. Humans have certain gestures to convey feelings. Mine was to empathize. Crayon prepared the meal and Yami served it. Raj was happy as soon as he saw the food. He thanked them for their care. Crayon was back to his business. He took Yami towards the bookshelf, the small library beside the study table. He explained her about the 9 kinds of emotions according to Bharat Muni, the author of Natyashastra. You must read books to understand human emotions and their types. In this way you will be able to predict people's mood. We don't need words to understand feelings of pets, plants, gadgets as they all convey their feelings through their actions or their physical state. Humans could too, but sometimes humans do it through words. Humans also expect feelings such as love, care, sympathy to be conveyed through words or actions. Do you remember the importance of sounds we had discussed? Asked Crayon while reminding her about his explanation. Yami nodded. Yes, I remember. So, words can change feelings also, she concluded. Crayon further highlighted the importance of reading books. He said, Yami, you know, humans say that books are their best friends. He explained, books fill the empty life of people and made them experience what they haven't. Positive non-fiction and fictional books heal human imagination and give them hope. Chapter 12 There is another human in the house and it is a girl. Now onwards, when Yami came across living things, she tried to find their emotional state of mind. So she went near each and everything and asked, do you want anything? She asked plants, fishes, devices and Pet Rocket. Pet wanted to eat. Yami understood that he was hungry. She gave biscuits to him. Finally, she asked Crayon, Hi Crayon, how are you feeling? Do you need anything? Crayon was mesmerized by her innocence and care. He smiled but did not say anything. He gently held her wrist and made her sit beside him. He then held her hand between both his hands. Yami understood and uttered excitedly, you want me. But you already have me. Crayon was delighted to hear that answer. He shared his feelings. I always wanted a friend similar to me so that I could share moments with her. Thanks Yami for being with me. Yami smiled and rested her head on Crayon's shoulders. I am glad to be with you, Crayon. I understand, you wanted to have our own world. She thought for some times and shared that she have observed Raj, now. Raj too must be wanting the same. Don't you think so? It was the weekend. They went to Lonavala in Raj's car. For Yami and Crayon, it was an adventure and wonderful. To Raj this was quite nostalgic. Raj often came here when he wanted to spend time with nature. They went to Raj's guru's ashram which was situated there. Each weekend there would be a meditation session held and people came from nook and corner to attend it. Raj was here for the same. In the morning, they went for a walk over the hills. They enjoyed the greenery and peace of the place. At night Raj was unable to sleep and came to the corridor and walked there. He heard a voice. It was of a girl. He immediately checked on Yami in the next room. But this time it wasn't Yami who was singing. He went back and witnessed a woman singing while taking a stroll which is usually taken after dinner. She hummed and sang the song, Chanda O Chanda. Raj felt a familiarity and could relate to the lyrics. He felt as if someone was calling him. Even Crayon and Yami enjoyed the song. Raj instantly imagined his married life with this lady and living happily ever after. No, Raj was not a habitual daydreamer but this time he really felt for her. After few minutes, the woman returned back to the ashram's one of the room. Raj wanted to talk to her but it was late night and he didn't want to disturb her. He was not that socializing too. Next morning, few people came looking for Rani. Rani was aware and saw Raj's car. They were leaving. She hid herself into the car. They drove back home. As they reached, Raj took his bag and went to unlock his home. Later, while taking the luggage out, Crayon and Yami found Rani. Rani requested them that she was in a hide and needed shelter to live for the time being. Being robot, Yami and Crayon were programmed to help humans. Thus, they hid her from Raj, thinking Raj won't allow her to live with them as it was a risk to their identities. Thus, sneakily Rani came to Raj's home. Raj was in the lab checking if all his confidential things were intact. As he came out, they hid Yami in Raj's bedroom. Yami was too tired and her body pained. Thus, as soon as she saw the bed, she laid to rest. As Raj entered hall, he requested Crayon for a tea. He had it and headed towards his bedroom. When he tried to open, it didn't open. Crayon came to Raj's help and knocked. Rani heard it from inside and slightly opened it and hid below the bed. Crayon opened the door and covered up, saying, "Non-living things also have emotions. You must knock before trying to open it, Raj." Raj went directly into his room for taking a shower. Rani breathed a sigh of relief and again lay over bed and went to sleep. While he went for the shower, Crayon and Yami came to wake Rani up, but she was a good sleeper. Finally, they successfully woke her up. But that was too late. Raj had finished the shower as the sound of the shower stopped and was about to come out. Rani covered herself under the comforter. Thankfully, it was too puffy. Raj did not realize that there could be a person beneath the blanket. But as he saw Crayon and Yami at the door, he felt strange. "What are you two doing here?" asked Raj, who was in his towel. Crayon closed Yami's eyes instantly, while Rani got a glimpse of him and closed her eyes too. We are here to inform you that the dinner is ready," replied Crayon. Raj asked them to serve till he got changed. They still remained standing there. It seldom happened when Raj ordered something and Crayon didn't listen. Raj again told, "Go and wait, I need to change." They left reluctantly. "I hope I won't see something which I should not. Oh God. Help," said Rani to herself and God. Thankfully, Raj wore his Bermuda before taking off the towel. He also wore a t-shirt but kept searching the room for something. "Oh my God. He must not find me," prayed Rani. He finally found the thing which he was looking for and left the room. He found Crane and Yami waiting outside. "Guys, please give me bit privacy." He requested them and walked them to sit on the dining table. Crayon served him the food while Yami took Rani to the balcony. When Raj started eating, he suddenly heard a sound from balcony. Crayon covered up, stating Yami was watering plants. Raj wondered why, at this time. He finished eating and asked Crayon to call Yami. "I hope you people are not up to something this time. Don't you want to go to sleep?" asked Raj with suspicion. They shook their head first, then nodded. Raj noticed their confusion. They had no way. They left. When Raj returned in his bedroom, now, did he notice there was a strange smell in his room. Also, the blanket and bed were left unattended. He thought both Crayon and Yami, being robots, won't leave the bed like this if they slept here. His suspicion grew more and more and he started checking here and there. He found an earring beneath the bed and his suspicion turned into confidence. There is another human in the house and it is a girl. Chapter 13, Please Don't Break Our Trust. At night, when Raj woke up for drinking water, Rani was hungry. At the same time, Rani also came to eat, half awake. Looking at strange women with long untied hairs, Raj got scared and screamed out of fear. Soon he realized she was a living being. Crayon and Yami came running as Raj caught the hidden Rani. He was told the whole story by Crayon. Raj was unhappy and reluctant to believe in a stranger. But, as it was midnight, he allowed her to stay for the night and decided to take decision on her in the morning. In the morning, Rani explained that Raj's spiritual guru knew her and she was here as she was in a hide. When Raj asked why were people chasing her, she did not reveal, claiming it was top secret. Raj had a private meeting with Crayon and Yami. What should I do? Should I take her in? What if she is a thief or a fraud? What if she found out about you too? After all, Raj was not a heartless person. Crayon suggested that she was a female. It was less likely for her to be dangerous for them. And, if we don't take her in, she might wander around. Raj thought it thoroughly. He dialed his guru but could not reach him. He had to take a decision. Finally Yami advised. We are doing a good thing. Our hearts are pure and good things happen to good people, I read in a book. Let's take her in, Raj. Raj pitied her and allowed Rani to stay with them till she finds a safer place elsewhere. But he also requested her to not to break their trust and to ask less questions. You may live here for the time being. But I request you, please, don't break our trust. Previously, Raj instructed Crayon and Yami to keep a watch on Rani, so that she stays away from the lab. Now, the problem was where to make her sleep. If she was arranged to sleep in the lab, she would find about Yami. Hall would probably not provide her comfort and privacy. The only place remaining was Raj's bedroom. He seldom sacrificed it before. I have never given my bedroom to someone else, Raj told to Crayon and Yami. Then you must at least share your bedroom with her and Crayon and I would share the lab. Yami suggested him innocently. Raj was disgusted to hear this. Yami, please, it can't happen, you don't know rules of human world, so don't say it. Raj finally decided to give up his bedroom. But when he offered it to Rani, she did not accept. I will sleep in the hall, if you don't mind. Don't worry. I will be comfortable here. But Raj still seemed reluctant. You won't feel safe here, Raj exclaimed. Rani understood his concern. She assured him. Relax. I would feel safe here. On that, I trust you. Raj looked at her with surprise. She became embarrassed and added, and also, Crayon. He is like a younger brother to me. She saved herself from embarrassment. Raj could utter no more and went to his room saying she could knock on the lab's door where Yami sleeps, if she wanted anything. Rani wobbled to convey that she was okay with this facility. But then Rani wondered why Yami slept in the lab. Do they have a bed in the lab? She saw him rushing in his room as soon as he finished talking. If there is nothing you want, I would go to sleep. Rani wondered again. He didn't even wish me good night. Is he not happy with my arrival? Raj felt embarrassed so he rushed into his room. Though this was a bit strange, actually, Rani's arrival made Raj happy and hopeful. Raj could not hide how pleasant he felt to have a female human in his machine world. Flowers bloomed in his barren life. He had someone to talk to. For a change, a human. He was no more alone. He had a friend, that too, a female one. The next morning when Rani woke up, Crayon served her some tea, receiving which she was amused. Thank you, Crayon, you are so considerate. Thanks, Raj likes to have the morning tea. Thus, I thought you would like it too, informed Crayon. Oh. You make tea for Raj every morning. Wow. You are such a good younger brother, said Rani. Sorry, I am not Raj's brother. I am his friend, Crayon said proudly. Rani felt difficult to understand the complexity of the relation between the three. But she did not bothered as far as she was getting to live there safely. It's time to wake Raj up, exclaimed Crayon. Excuse me, Rani. Crayon went to Raj's bedroom. Crayon woke Raj up. When Raj woke up, Crayon reported to him that Rani was awake and he had already served her tea. Raj felt enthusiastic but underplayed his feelings. Good job, Crayon. You must take care of the guest. Raj took the tea from Crayon and came to the hall like a totally different person from how he behaved at night. May I join you for the tea? Raj asked Rani. Why tea? Say tea party, exclaimed Rani. Please join me. Rani requested to join and made space for him to sit. How is the tea? Asked Raj. Very nice, Crayon has magic in his hands, she answered. She noticed Crayon and Yami at the corner. Suddenly, she wondered and asked. Aren't they having tea with us? Raj answered stammering. They already had it in the morning, must have had. He then turned to Crayon. Right, Crayon. Crayon and Yami kept nodding their heads more than needed, saying, yes, we already had it. Raj breathed a sigh of relief. Raj was happy as he was sharing the morning tea for the first time in a while. Rani was glad that Raj sounded friendly and welcoming for the first time. Maybe he fell for my looks. Rani overthought things and got too happy in her own. She smiled like fools. When Raj asked, she covered up, claiming she smiled as having tea made her happy. In the afternoon, when Raj opened his lunch box, he noticed it was not the usual one. It looked fresh and homely. Could it be her? He thought for a second. But ruled out the thought quickly, citing it was not possible. Then he tasted it. It was yummy. He finished it all quickly and could feel the care of the cook in the food. It is definitely cooked by a woman. It makes me feel cared for, he said to himself. Chapter 14. Aren't You That Singing Girl? In the evening, when Raj went home, a good list of delicacies were waiting for him. The door was opened by Rani. She welcomed him. Crayon and Yami wished him good evening while preparing the table. Rani asked him to sit and catch a breath. She brought him a glass of water and served him. She herself took a seat on a chair beside the sofa. So, how was your day at work? She asked Raj as he finished drinking water. Raj was delighted. He answered with zeal. It was great. Now that I think, it was better than usual. Maybe, because I was in a good mood since morning. He stopped there and regretted to have been so true. Rani looked here and there as if she did not hear anything. That's great. Good to hear that, said Rani to break the silence. She thought for a second, should I ask him about the lunch? Oh, let it be, bad idea. Raj mentioned further, the lunch was especially great. It had a certain homely feeling. You liked it? Rani inquired with delight. Did you prepare it, by any chance? He looked towards Crayon and Yami, as if he didn't know. Yes, I cooked it. Anyways, there was nothing to do, so I thought cooking was a good way to pass the time. So I cooked. Rani blushed with embarrassment. Oh really? No doubt, it had such warmth in it. Raj again regretted to be so frank. He corrected himself. I mean, it was still warm in the afternoon, I did not have to heat it in the oven. He saved himself. But it was very tasty. Very delicious, he added. Thank you, said Rani, whose cheeks turned pink with happiness. Crayon interrupted them, finally. And today's dinner is also prepared by Rani ji, he informed Raj. Oh, you don't need to do so much. Crayon and Yami are good at cooking. You are our guest. We must not bother you. See, I can't repay for how all three of you treat me. But at least I can try my bit. And I like cooking. Don't be so formal, said a humble Rani. Raj understood her sincerely. They had the dinner together as Yami and Crayon were on a fast for that month as per Raj. That night post-dinner, Raj took his guitar out. After a long time he felt like playing it. He randomly played a tune. Rani was amazed to listen it. She went to the balcony where he played it. I hope I am not disturbing your music meditation, inquired Rani. Oh no, not at all. Please come. Raj invited her. Raj ji, you play very well. I didn't know that a machine maker will have a knack for music. You shocked me. Rani complimented him. Raj blushed and thanked her for the compliment. Hey, would you like to have some coffee? Raj offered. Coffee? At this time? No ways. Then I won't be able to sleep tonight, but thanks for asking, said Rani. Hey, by the way, what was that tune you were playing just now? Oh, that tune, I made it up randomly. You liked it? Asked an excited Raj. Yes, totally. That was awesome, or otherwise, I would not have followed the piper, said Yami. Both giggled. Do you want me to play something for you? Offered Raj. Yeah. Play anything you like. This time Raj played a different tune. As he played, Rani started humming, Chanda Oh Chanda, the same song which Raj heard that girl singing in Lonavala and was playing right now. He was amazed as the voice was the same. Aren't you that singing girl? Raj exclaimed with happiness. Rani did not have any clue. Raj explained, actually, I heard you sing this same song in Lonavala one night. Rani remembered the night she sang it. Oh. You heard me then. She got a bit embarrassed. Rani tried to explain, actually, this is my favorite song. I was just humming it while I went for a walk. I was in a good mood, otherwise, I am not that mad to sing and disturb others at night. No, you were absolutely great. I mean, you sing sweet. I liked it. Raj again told what he did not want to reveal. The silence was then broken by Crayon and Yami, who came following her sweet voice. And we also liked it, they said together. Please, sing the whole song, once, requested Yami. She wanted to hear and memorize it. Ronnie sang and kept blushing throughout the song. All four enjoyed their time together. Raj and Ronnie had a good chat before Ronnie easily fell asleep listening to the soothing tune of the song, Neel Neel Amber Pur. She had demanded Raj to sing and play this song and he readily did. Crayon and Yami had left. Raj had to disturb her sleep to wake her up. It was too cold in the balcony and they were not so close that he could have carried her in his arms. She woke up partially. They retreated to their respective rooms. Very naturally, Raj and Ronnie liked each other's company. Just talking to each other made them feel warm inside their hearts. They experienced a heartfelt happiness every time they saw each other. In just few days, they felt like they knew each other since ages. They dreamt about each other when they were alone. To both of them, Yami and Crayon were a family. After they were on good terms, one day, Yami accidentally spilled that Raj had instructed Crayon and Yami to keep a watch on Ronnie and keep her away from the lab. Ronnie, without asking anything further, reached to her own conclusion. Raj never trusted me. She got furious and heartbroken. She began packing her things and left without waiting for Raj to return home. Yami traced her route from the balcony. But after a point she couldn't find her. When Raj returned home, Crayon informed him about everything. It started to pour outside. Raj exclaimed, "Oh shit." Without much ado, Raj took an umbrella and ran towards the direction Yami had traced Ronnie going. Raj sprinted crazily as if he was going to lose a huge thing. He did not wanted that to happen. "Please don't leave me, please don't go far away from me," he kept repeating in his mind as if talking to Ronnie through telepathy. He kept looking for her and kept asking everyone. He finally found her at the nearest bus stop. Chapter 15 If possible, please forgive me. She was still there sitting on a bench. She was in a good grief. Raj could feel it from a distance. Thank God she did not go. Or I would have not forgiven myself, he said to himself. She saw him half-drenched even when he had an umbrella with him. She immediately turned her gaze as if she did not saw him. He went near her and sat beside. Are you so upset with me that you left our home? He asked her after thinking 100 times. But Ronnie didn't answer. Please, come back with me. I don't want you to leave, Raj requested again. Ronnie finally looked at him with her complaining eyes. She was crying big time and her cheeks and nose turned red. But I want you to leave me alone, said Ronnie. This was the first time Raj dared to look so closely towards her. She looked too innocent. But she had extremely expressive eyes with dense eyelashes and fairly bushy eyebrows. Her lips were small but symmetrical and her tear drops made her dusky skin shine. Raj kept himself back from praising her as this was not the right time to do that. Ronnie strongly refused to come back. I don't want to live in a place where no one trusts me. No, it's not like that. Crayon and Yami always trusted you. Raj told her in a hurry but then wondered if this was the right way to clarify things. Then why did you ask me to not to break your trust when you never trusted me, in first place, asked Yami. Raj tried his best to explain her. Ronnie, please, try to understand my situation. I barely knew you. To my human mind, it was difficult to trust a stranger. But then as we spent time together, as I started to know you, I trusted you more and more. I am not justifying my actions. I just want you to know that today's me trust you completely. But, I know I have hurt you. And I am sorry for it. If possible, please forgive me. Raj had great sincerity in his words which Ronnie felt. When she looked at him he looked sad. Ronnie thought it thoroughly. She realized he spoke sense as she herself won't trust a stranger. It's okay. I trust you. Don't be sad. I am no more angry with you, said Ronnie, who had forgiven him in her heart the moment she saw him coming towards the bus stop to take her back. So are you staying? Raj wanted to confirm. Of course, I am staying. I won't punish Yami and Crayon because of you. They are innocent. People at the bus stop who eavesdropped at their conversation concluded that they were a married couple with 2 children. Ronnie asked him what he would have done if she still remained adamant and did not go back with him. Raj told her, if I had no other way. I would have held your hand and would have warned you that if you didn't go back with me I will hug you before everyone. Ronnie believed him and got scared. "You are insane," marked Ronnie. Raj handed over her the umbrella. He picked her luggage, held her other hand and they started walking. "Give me the luggage. It is too heavy. You hold this umbrella," offered Ronnie. "No, I will handle the bags, it has wheels." "You must hold the umbrella," said Raj, rejecting her offer. Raj instructed her on the way. "Once the park comes, Crayon would escort you. I have to get your name registered in the visitors register. But I can't reveal my identity as I am in a hiding as some people are behind me," argued Ronnie. "Then I have to make you enter when no one is looking." Raj thought of a trick. They climbed the back wall and entered the building. Yami came wearing a hoodie and gave it to Ronnie to wear to hide her face. When Ronnie reached home she was shocked to see Yami and Crayon entering from the balcony. According to the plan, Yami and Crayon had to come to the room climbing the pipe while Raj and Ronnie took the stairs. This time Ronnie did not ask anything but Raj still covered up, stating they were athletes in their school. On coming home Ronnie finally explained everything. Actually, she was a scientist and was hiding as some people were behind Ronnie's new invention, an anti-nuclear formula. Raj objected that why she did not tell him before, as he would have trusted her and protected her more. She argued that even he did not tell her about Yami and Crayon being robots. "What? You know it?" Raj got surprised. "Of course I know it. Who gives exact Wikipedia description for a word's meaning?" "Only Crayon," answered an impressed Raj. "Oh, you got it this way. Then how did you know about Yami?" he inquired. "I asked her for a sanitary napkin which she did have." Raj was amazed on Ronnie's brilliant observation and laughed out loudly. "Superb, you surprised me," exclaimed Raj. She further asked him to ask his guru if he still can't believe her. "Guruji knows everything about me, you can ask him." Raj apologized again for not believing in her. "I am sorry I made you cry. I just want to say that I trust you. Please forgive this idiot. I am sorry for what I did and I am sorry again for what I am going to do." Raj came close to Ronnie, lifted her in his arms. Ronnie's heart started beating faster. Raj carried her to his bedroom and kept her on the bed. Crayon and Yami followed them with excitement. Raj declared, "Today onwards you and Yami would sleep in my bedroom while I will sleep in the hall and Crayon in the lab." While Ronnie breathed a sigh of relief, Crayon and Yami were extremely happy for their parents. But they were soon disturbed by a phone call. It was Raj's Guruji calling to ask if Ronnie was safe. But he was a little late. They already patched up. From that day onwards, Raj felt more responsible and protective towards Ronnie. Ronnie definitely added colors to Raj's black and white life. Raj and Ronnie, after few days, developed fondness for each other and came closer. All four prepared Yami's sleeping cover together. Raj was shocked by watching Ronnie's wisdom and scientific knowledge. Yami and Crayon teased them often. Sometimes, they learned from Crayon and Yami how to care about each other by certain gestures and touch, a warm hug, high five, helping each other, patting for good work, etc. Chapter 16 I wish, if you could stay with me forever. 3 months passed. Raj's life was going great. Yami was allowed to go outside with Crayon. One day when Raj, Crayon and Ronnie were not at home, the power was cut off. Hearing to few neighbors, Yami went to check the fuse. She found that there was a short circuit. She immediately cut all the wires with her bare hands and nails. The neighbors witnessed it all with shock. They suspected her. After cutting all wires, she looked around. One of them came forward to ask her if she was okay, but as soon as he touched her he received a current and fell on the ground. The neighbors understood. Yami was not a human. Crayon, who came there by then, took her away. When Raj came back all the neighbors gathered and demanded Raj to destroy the robot girl in his house as she could be a threat in future. Raj was broken. He lost all hopes. Now, they had to take a decision regarding Yami. Raj thought he made a mistake by making Yami, as she was not safe in this human world. He asked Ronnie and Crayon, "Should I dismantle her forever? I don't see any other option whatsoever." Raj told these words with heavy heart. But Crayon pleaded that he couldn't live without her. Actually, none of them could live without Yami. Rani suggested to dismantle her for the time being, but that won't have solved the problem forever. Finally, Raj decided that they all would leave this place next morning. We are a family. All for one, one for all. For Yami, we can do this, said a determined Raj. That night a baby was heard crying from the opposite wing. It seemed he was missing his mother and the nanny failed to make him quiet. Yami heard and reached her balcony. She had seen in movies how kids listen to lullaby to sleep. Yami began singing, Chanda oh Chanda for that kid. It was the same song she heard Rani singing. The whole society got a glimpse of Yami's singing. Although she was not a human, her emotions could be felt. They felt she was just like normal people. That night, it was difficult for Raj or Rani to go to sleep. But Yami's lullaby made it possible. They were finally able to sleep. Everyone went to sleep but Yami was wide awake. At night, few thieves barged into the flat of a neighbor and they screamed for help. While others were helpless and could not catch the thieves, Yami heard and followed them in one voice. Only, she could scale the pipes. Raj, Rani and Crayon woke up. Raj instructed Crayon to take the lift to look for Yami and protect her. Yami followed the thieves as they jumped down. While chasing, she managed to catch one and kicked him to the ground. Crayon, who came running from behind, got hold of the thieves and handed him over to the neighbors. She soon caught the other one and fought with him easily. Crayon pulled her away and caught them. The neighbors taught a good lesson to the thieves. She got an applaud from the society for her bravery. Raj was happy. He exclaimed with delight, I did best by making you. I am proud of you. Everyone cheered. Next morning, the society secretary came to inform Raj that everyone was pleased and humbled by Yami's help and wanted Yami to stay. Raj was also asked by the society if he could prepare more robots for the security of the society. Raj's happiness knew no bounds. All four celebrated catching a dinner at nearby restaurant. Crayon finally fulfilled his promise and took Yami to the terrace of their building. The whole city could be seen from there. He confessed her that he couldn't live without her. Crayon then kept her hand on his heart and said, see, this is my processor. Whenever you are around, it works so fast that my system hangs and I have to refresh with fluttering my eyes or by some exterior force to work smoothly. Yami accepted that the same things happened to her. So why is it like that, she asked Crayon. Crayon explained that they were in love with each other. But how is it possible, we are robots? Didn't they say, robots don't have feelings, asked a surprised Yami. Crayon explained her, so what? Raj has tried his best to make us react in a certain way in given situation. Thus, we have emotions which give rise to our reaction. We get attracted to each other, that is our reaction and emotion toward each other. Raj is successful in his experiment. So do you mean that we can become couples, like humans? Asked Yami. Sure. Why not? In fact, we already are a couple. You are the mother of our pet rocket and I am his father. We are already husband and wife. Yami was pleased to hear it. But we have to make it official. I have to ask Raj for your hand and convince him that I will take your responsibility and protect you and love you all my life. There is another aspect that I have to ask you first and make the same promise to you. You already did. Yami recalled. I remember when I hurt myself in the park, you carried me home and promised me to take care of me forever. But I did not ask you that. Crayon stopped and went down on his knees. Do you like me, Yami? Will you marry me? Asked Crayon. Yami confessed that, I like you. He said the same. They both held hands and lie down on a mat and gazed stars and the moon. Crayon removed the Tokios from Yami's hairs. He made rings out of it and they exchanged it. Yami and Crayon stared at their hands after exchanging fake rings. Crayon kissed Yami's hand. In return Yami gave him a peck on his cheeks. Stop it, you can't do this. Because your father doesn't allow it, Raj came screaming. Raj caught them as he came with Rani. Raj got shock of his life after witnessing this romantic scene between them. Raj warned Crayon, if you did anything unethical to her, I will make sure I dismantle you for a long time. Crayon asked Raj to cool down and assured him that he equally cared for Yami. Crayon then explained Yami that as they were still not married, they must avoid certain romantic gestures. But we can do what is not too offensive and is a friendlier gesture rather than a romantic one, said Crayon. He kissed her cheeks. Yami blushed and smiled happily. Raj was disgusted but at loss of words. He screamed, "Stop. For God's sake. You both sit 6 feet away from each other." Everyone except him giggled over his parenthood. Once in a while, Crayon enjoyed making him a bit frustrated. Ronnie then tried to cool him down. They are robots. Nothing can happen between them. She is underage. She doesn't know. How despicable men are, Raj taunted Crayon. Crayon is a machine. He can't be despicable. Let the kids play. We must leave them alone. Come, let's go for a walk. Ronnie took Raj away for Yami and Crayon to spend their sweet time together. Raj and Ronnie went for a walk in their society's joggers park. She tried to cool him down. Don't worry. Crayon is loyal to you and also very wise. Your doll is safe with him. As if I don't know. But I have to keep some restrictions to always be at the back of their minds, answered Raj. Ronnie was surprised with his answer. Hey, you are the one, who is really despicable, she marked. They giggled. While walking, Ronnie informed that she had submitted and patented her formula and was out of risk. Raj was happy to hear this news. She further asked if she must leave as she did not want to burden them. What burden? I thought we were a family. Raj got a little disappointed by her words, but he knew her real concern was for him. Raj confessed that from the day she came into his life, he never wanted her to leave. You light up my world, Ronnie. I wish, if you could stay with me forever. I like you and want to marry you, Ronnie, revealed Raj. Ronnie confessed, I like you, too. I want to be with you forever, Raj. They embraced each other out of happiness. And soon, the crackers light up the sky. No, it was not Diwali festival. It were Crayon and Yami who already expected this scene to happen and were prepared. The end.